If you want to be able to build this in Planet Zoo, then stick with me with my updated 2022 7-episode tutorial series. In this series, we are going to cover the basic controls, landscaping, pathing, barriers, building, foliage, and enrichment. And since many things have changed since 2019, when my last tutorial have been online, here's a brand new series you can build along. The park is available to download, but now let's begin. Welcome to the last part of my tutorial series. In today's video, we are going to talk about education, enrichment, and everything in regards to the happiness of your guests and your animals. That is the first time I'm going to do a tutorial on this one. In my other tutorial in 2020, we didn't do anything about enrichment because it was focused on Sandbox. This over here is focused on also franchise mode and all other modes where you have the welfare turned on of your animals. So in order to not do too many things in here and get some crazy problems with our guests, we are going to start right away to do the very first thing you always have to do when it comes to enrichment. You are going to click on the animals that are within your habitat. Now, we have prepared the habitat in the last couple of episodes of this tutorial. In case you haven't seen that and for whatever reason clicked on this video, make sure to watch all the previous episodes to understand how we got to this point. Now, I'm just going to click on that orangutan. You can see it's having a couple of issues. Now, we're going to solve these issues from simple to more complicated, and therefore we just have to get a feeling of what are the issues. Now we can see the welfare is pretty seriously bad, and it's not about nutrition, that is all good, but it seems to be about social, and that is the space. Now why space is gonna give us an info in here. Habitat overall looks to be very good. Terrain is a little bit missing, and we don't have any enrichment. Now the first thing we're going to do is the terrain bit, because that is the easy fix, it seems. So we're going to go to terrain, and you can see, oh, look at that, there is grass long too much and way too less soil. So what we're going to do, we're going to click basically on soil. It brings up the soil menu, and what we're going to do is now we're going to get rid of some of the long grass that is within the habitat. Now obviously this is taking too long, so we're just going to increase the size and intensity and just gonna click here until we are basically fine and we got rid of the long grass. Where is all the long grass though? I'm not gonna find it. You know, sometimes it's just gonna helpful to paint over everything. There you go. Now that doesn't really look too good, but since we can use short grass, I'm just going to make this look a lot better again by just putting short grass in. Look at that, fancy, really good. Now this is the easy fix. We fixed that pretty quickly. The other thing is climbing. Navigatable climbing area is non-existent. Now in the last episode I did set up certain things on purpose to make sure that we can solve that issue. So we have this wonderful rock over here that presumably they can't get onto. No, they can't, because they obviously have no climbing pieces to get up there. Now in order to do so, we need to open the menu Habitat, and in the Habitat menu there is the enrichment items, and in the enrichment items we have climbable pieces. Now again, turn off the blueprints, we don't need them, and now we can use all of these climbing pieces. Now not all of them essentially, because the orangutan unfortunately can't use thin pieces, they can only use thick pieces. So it's very important that we only use the thick pieces. So for example, we have this wonderful trunk. I'm a big fan of this trunk, so I'm going to put this already over here, and I'm going to also put this over here because these two will be connected later on. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the first bits. I'm going to put down a couple of long logs already to connect to these areas. So I'm always going to connect them with the controls you learned in the last episodes, and then I'm going to drag that down with the advanced move tool. It's just the same as you've learned in the building tutorial, so we've fixed that issue. A wonderful other thing to do would be with the palm tree. Unfortunately, they cannot climb the palm tree. It does say so, but since they are most likely to thin pieces, they do not climb that. But nevertheless, I'm going to connect the palm tree anyways, just because I like it. So I'm just going to focus on that palm tree over here. That looks to be very sweet. Look at that. I'm just going to push that back a little and then push it forward so it does connect to the palm tree. geometry. That is pretty nice. And what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to take the same piece, connect that over here, and then I'm just going to push that up so it's also connected to this rock area again. Very neat, very nice, and that's the way how we are going to go about this now. Just going to push all the pieces up here or down here, I should better say, and then just making sure that they all connect properly, not like as I've done over here. That was a weird mistake, but there you go. Just putting all these pieces in so they have a proper reason to climb from A to B. And then we can also do the very same thing everywhere in our habitat. So just go on, put the pieces down, get a bit of a feeling of how you want to do this. And also, you know, I like the fact that they can potentially also climb down here in the back. So I'm just going to put a big one down, just like so. Very nice. You know, I'm just going to move that along here, and then I'm just going to push that all the way down. And I've just noticed that I have the random rotation still turned on. Highly recommend to turn that off for building climbing frames, because that just is not helpful. Now we do have a couple of other nice pieces. So for example, we have this natural bridge over here, and I want to use this bridge so badly that I'm going to use this basically on 2 different occasions. So first of all, I'm going to use this on this spot over here as like a connection between those two. You don't even need to have this like straight. It can also be used this way. So I'm going to try to use it the best way possible to have like a wonderful little, you know, bridge that goes up and down. I'm not sure if I think I don't want to leave it that colorful. I think I'm going to go with the greenish color palette what we have already set this whole thing to be. I think that looks decent enough. I think that's fine, you know, with the connection here, and then we have like a small little bridge that goes from here to here. I hope that this is enough. It looks a little bit clunky, a little bit too far off, unfortunately. So maybe we're just going to use the bigger one. Also over here. Yeah, that looks definitely better. And then we're just going to do the same thing again. I think that's quite fun to have it that way. And then we are just going to put down a couple other pieces. Again, I love this rock so much, or log. So I'm going to put this one down here. Not sure if they can climb it, but I think this is fine. And then just going to put another log, maybe a longer one, just so that they can use that over here. Just push that down a little. So you get the idea, you know, we are building like a huge climbing frame for them over here now, to increase the overall climbable area. So just going to make sure that everything is connected with each other, and just making it also look good. And I think this is some of the most important bits. I want to have like another platform on top of this piece over here. So I'm just going to move that on top of this. Very nice indeed. And then we're going to connect this again with those logs, just making sure that they can climb there if they want. Maybe we just have some overlap to make that look a bit more realistic. And then we just have another one that just goes over here. Maybe just tilt that down a little so it looks a bit better. Just if this is connected. Look at this. Wonderful. Now, as we've done this, we hit play for a quick second because that will reset their demand. And now we have to see what happens over here. Okay, so that was definitely not enough. Now, you don't need to build this all yourself. This is why we still have some blueprints. Now make sure to turn the blueprints on again, and you can say blueprints only, and then you go to climbing pieces, and then you give all the blueprints that you have of climbing pieces, either way your own ones or some that you have built in the past already. Now I am going to use basically a climbing frame that Frontier offered, and I'm just going to put one in the back here, just to fulfill their climbing needs. And I'm not even sure if they can maybe jump on top of the roof. Maybe that's not the most clever positioning here I've ever done. So I'm just going to push that a little tiny bit further away, hit play again, and let's see how our friends are doing now. That's better. That's definitely better. It's still not optimum, but it's definitely better. So let's keep on putting certain things down. And again, you don't always need to, you know, build everything yourself. It's also good to mix certain things. You can also, you know, do things like that. You don't even need to have everything perfectly fine everywhere. So we can also have like a platform here. I think this looks also fairly decent, just to have something over here for those people in the back. I think that could be pretty fun. And then you can have these things also just somewhere in the middle where they can just go on these platforms. Maybe you can then just even jump from A to B, just put them next to each other, hit play again. wait for the recalculation. And it's actually good, you know, we are getting there. And maybe we just have one of these climbing frames as well. Sometimes, again, you can just use them together with other pieces, just like that. And then maybe another one goes in the back, and then you can also use another small one wherever you want, you know, just kind of try to make certain things nice and for them obviously to enjoy. I see there is something broken, so I'm just going to do it that way, hit play again and wait for the calculation. So we are nearly there. The one thing you have to understand is that the climbing area, the navigatable area, is the biggest boost you'll get is from these areas that are filled in. So sometimes it makes a lot of sense to look where you get the biggest boost from. So these small pieces do offer quite a bit of climbing frame, while that what I have done really doesn't offer that much. And I'm just... Oh, look at that. I just noticed that I can't get into this area, so this might also be the reason to why. I'm not sure if this is because there's not enough space, so let's just rotate this a little. Maybe that's gonna give them the space they need. Let me just gonna fix that real quick, and see if that works now. Let's hit unpause and see if they can traverse over. No, I can't, because it seems like they cannot go through here. That might be because of that piece, so we're just going to move that further down, and I'm actually going to move that a little bit further here, and then I'm just going to push that a lot more outwards to give them hopefully a bit more space, and then hit unpause again and see what happens now. They still can't get there, can they? No, that is very unfortunate. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do then is I'm just going to, you know, just connect this in that way. I think this way it should be good. And now let's see if that fixed the issue. That looks better, and now we are into the green and the climbing is done. Perfection. Okay, but we are not done yet, guys. We are not done yet. There are a couple of things we still need to do. So first of all, there is a high need, as it seems, for enrichment. As you can see, we have 0% enrichment, and now enrichment, that is pretty easy. You just click on that animal, and then it is the Bornean orangutan. So what you're going to do, you go into this area, and then you type in the Bornean orang, and you just basically copy what is done over there. You disable those, and then you get all the enrichment pieces that this animal specifically needs and wants to have. And now you can just put them down wherever you want in your habitat, and then they will be able to use these things. And you have to pay attention to where your staff members can go for the food enrichment, because if you don't put the food enrichment into spaces where the keeper can go, then the keeper won't be able to put it down. Now I'm just going to put a lot of stuff in here as like the hard shelter, especially also something to drink for them. The ugly pipe that no one wants but still needs. There you go. We can also put some sprinklers down in terms of, you know, making them happy. So that is pretty fine as well. Maybe we're gonna put like a tree forager down here as well, just maybe below these ones, also kind of nice. And there's like also like a little puzzle. We want them to do the puzzle when guests can see that, right? So I'm gonna put this here, even though the problem about this is that the staff members can't get here, but you know, let's do that for the looks of things for the moment. And I think we also can put the grab ball maybe on top of here, and also one of the bobbins that I do like quite a bit is going to be put on here as well. So that is quite a bit. Hit play, and now we can have a look how they are doing. Let's click on that one, and that looks fairly good. There is a couple of toys missing right now, so this time around we go to the habitat tool, go to enrichment, and now just filter by toys, and then we can see, okay, we can just put some other things down, or maybe like a keyboard. Look at that, we love keyboards, don't we? So we can have that. We can put a ball somewhere if they want to play with a ball. Gonna move the ball in here, and we're gonna give them also the mirror mobility. I love this mirror mobility tool to bits as well. Just gonna put this here, and then hit play again. I think this time around we should be at 100%, and now the protesters can also leave the zoo again. Not sure if they already did. Oh yeah, it seems like they already did. Oh no, they're about to leave the zoo. Okay, so you can see we've done everything. Maybe we should also take care of our little otters as well, so that we are aware of the otters' problems. Look at that, they have a bit of stress, so they need to try to hide hide somewhere. But they do have a bit of problems with enrichment. That doesn't affect us too much, because we do also just say small clawed otter, and now you can see they need a couple of things. So we are going to give them 2 wonderful submarine tools. We're going to give them this beautiful thing, and maybe we can even access 2 sides. Yes, that is wonderful. Then we give them a little bubble machine that is going to be below here. Maybe we're going to give them another wonderful ball that is going to be put here. Maybe we're going to give them like a little rubber duck that is going to be hidden down here. Speaking of hiding, we can also hit a box down here. There you go. And we're gonna give them also a little bit of a mud bath, but I'm going to look for a good... Oh, that's a very good spot. It's pretty nicely hidden in the back, so you can't see that from the front. That's looking good. Now hit play again. That looks fine, and we don't have the food enrichment, but that's not too much of a big deal, because we are just going to bring that one in as well. There you go, and the food enrichment as well, like a block of frozen fruit. And we're gonna give them an underwater fish feeder, just because we can. We're just going to put this thing in the ground. There you go. And now they are also super, super happy. This is what we've done, and now the enrichment for the animals is done. But the enrichment for the guest isn't done. I've paused the game right now, because now we need to go into facility. And in facility there is a media drive and education panel. And in this one there are a lot of things that we can use. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to put some things down. So first of all, this is a toy for the kids in which they can put down their fingers and then they see what kind of paw is this. And we can also have something that tells them what the sound of the animals is. So we're going to put these left and right, and then we can also make this wonderful thing where you can learn how tall you are. Unfortunately, this is a gorilla, but this is not a big deal. So what we are going to do is we type in orangutan, and we're going to just solve that issue by putting this face in front of it. And I'm just going to make this wonderful dude go in here. I'm not sure if this is going to look good, but we can just color that in another color. Maybe that's a good color, and then just have that in the back here. Yeah, maybe that works, and then we just use the smaller face. Why not? And then just like put the face on here, solve the issue. Look, that almost looks like as if it's supposed to be that way. So yeah, that is a little bit of education. We have these educational things, which are very good as well to boost the education of your guests. And I think this is a very nice spot to put them down, the same way on the other side. And then we also have animal talk point, which I guess in the front here wouldn't be the best spot. So the best spot is on top, which is pretty good. And we also can have certain other things, and that is the educational board, which is the habitat education board. Remember, we've set the space for that last time, so I'm just going to use exactly the frame where we have done this. So just going in here, place that, and then you can select the animal that you want to select. Over here I want to have the Bornean orangutan, and since we have 2 animals, we are just going to copy the whole thing, and we're just going to put this down one more time, just right next to it. There you go. And then we are just going to select the Asian small-clawed otter. So these things are in. That is not really positioned nicely, so we're just going to bring this to the other side to not block too many things. There you go. Wonderful. Look at that. Sweet. So this is the way how you can make the education work. And this tree is a perfect spot to put the educational speaker down. Now, you have to be a bit careful with that one, though, because you can only select one species. And we are going to select, first of all, this thing, and we're going to select the orangutan. And now we're just going to increase the size of it, but it is important that you don't go into some other circles, because you have to make sure that it's the correct animal you're doing the education for, and therefore you have to be a bit careful of the different spheres that you put around these things. So this is for the orangutan, and now you can also just go over here, and for example in here we're going to place this right in front of our wonderful gate. We could, window, we can just say, okay, that is the Asian small-clawed otter. We don't have power over here, but you can just ignore that for the moment, because, you know, we can just say for the moment power everything, because I wanted to go for the creative setup. but where is that? Power everything. There you go. And then you can also select a couple of things over here. Honestly, I'm just gonna click something right now for the moment, and that is just wonderful. And now you guys have created this wonderful area together with me. Now everyone is happy. We have education, we have our animals happy, we have barriers, we have a management, we have a building for them, we have the perfect pathing. So we created a brilliant looking habitat. I really find this looks absolutely stellar, and we've gone through this in all the episodes with all the single steps, so you can repeat this yourself now. You can download this very park from the workshop if you want to, and also make sure to, you know, just enjoy your time. Keep trying. You won't be perfect in the first place, but you can download this, rip things apart, try it yourself, and you'll become better with patience and watching tutorials and just doing it. I really hope this entire series of tutorials was very helpful for you. In case you need some other tutorials and you want to have some more knowledge, you can either check out my tutorial playlist. There are a lot of more advanced tutorials in there as well. Or you can just drop a comment down below what you were missing out on, and I'm gonna see what I can do in the future. In any case, if you like the content and if you want to see more of that in the future, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also, if you feel super generous, you can use either becoming a member or the super thanks. That's gonna help me to build this channel even more and, you know, pay the bill if my computer decides to die on me again, just like a couple of weeks ago. Now, I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a wonderful time. I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe and goodbye.